Question for us today, how do we maintain a faith-shaped life in view of constant challenges? I'm going to think about David this morning, and my screen back here is not working, so I'm going to continue to look backwards here. Forgive me. I can't remember how many clicks I've made. David the pessimist. Let's imagine that David was a pessimist, and he's looking at his life like we sometimes look at our lives, of how hard it is, and all the challenges we have, and how bad the traffic is, and how awful the rains are until it's dry, and it's how awful the dryness is until the rain's done. If a pessimist were to be the biographer for David, listen to this, honestly. You wouldn't believe what a miserable existence I've had. I am the youngest of a ton of brothers. I'm scrawny. And my brothers consider me a troublemaker. What kind of inheritance could I ever hope to have? They gave me the most horrendous of jobs, keeping sheep in a miserable place where there's nothing but snakes and rocks for company. Listen to this pessimist, David. I have everything from bears to lions trying to eat my miserable life out of existence. I suppose I should have let them eat me and put myself out of my own misery. My brothers, they hang out with cool people. They learn real man stuff like fighting with swords, spears. Me, I get dumb errands, like some delivery service. Here, go take this cheese to your brothers. Nobody will ever notice me like that. They go to school and hang out with girls, or like it. I throw rocks at stuff. And I play a stupid harp. A harp that I got for Passover one year. A harp! I will die! What do you think I am? So I write songs about smelly sheep and being alone. I'm so old, so am I. Now there's a pessimist, David. Everything I told you was in David's life. But he did not take any of those negative things and turn them into some kind of miserable existence. One day, he approached a huge challenge, but it wasn't a huge challenge that was insurmountable because he had learned a life that was shaped by faith and not by pessimism. Let's think about David's challenges. Rather than complain, he embraced his time alone, and he became a thinker. He learned devotion to the ones who depended on him for his life, even if they were just sheep. They were, after all, his father's sheep. And he loved them and protected them with his life. He wrote songs about his relationship with God, and he fell in love with his Creator. He used his stone-throwing ability to ward off danger. And he used his muscles and wit and relationship with God to kill both a lion and a bear. He refused distractions by the way of others and their war tactics, and used his faith in God and his skill set to slay a giant, liberating his people from a sure slavery and most likely death. This is what this David did. His life could have been looked at so negatively. So many issues. Lousy job. Terrible pay. Awful future. After look at all those things, he allowed those things in his life. His relationship with God shaped his attitude differently. Here's some questions I want us to look at today. I've divided this into 4 different questions. We'll look at them here. First one is this. My question, quite simply, is what is shaping your life attitude? What is shaping it? Something is shaping it, I assure you. people shaping your current attitude, or is faith shaping it? The people were absolutely trembling at this giant. They were trembling. This was an awful thing to be facing. I have a feeling that maybe somebody had marched out already and either turned tail and ran, or this was an awful scenario. It was sure death against this terrible giant who stood morning and evening and ridiculed them. He played on their fears, and then he retired to his safe place unchallenged. The king and the people were frozen in stalemate. Goliath, you see, had set the parameters of this challenge. Stood in front of everybody, fee-fi, fo-fum. Anybody comes out, you kill me, and we'll serve you. I kill them, you guys serve us. Sounds fair, right? Well, who made him the one that set the rules? This never ceases to amaze me when I think of this story. He said one person to challenge him. Why would you even accept that? What an awful set of rules. Why didn't 1,000 archers nail him the second he came out the next morning?
Come on.
Why didn't they just line up 1,000 of them? Okay, 50 of them are going to miss. 950 arrows going to pin that bad boy. He's got this huge target. You can't miss him. Why didn't they do that? They somehow accepted his way of thinking. Who's shaping your attitude? You know, challenges come along in life, it's tough. And the boardroom is weird, and it's unfair, and money is hard, and the wrong person gets promoted, and the right person gets tossed out, and it's just unjust. What is shaping your attitude today? David could have moaned about his life with the sheep. You know, you may not be aware of this, but the shepherd was the bottom rung of the social class there. They weren't the people who are going to be applauded. Shepherd. When they say, the shepherd king, we think, oh, he must have been wonderful. Actually, it's quite derogatory. The shepherd. What? You can't get anybody who's born to royalty? You can't get anybody educated in your country? It was very derogatory. He could have moaned about his life, moaned about his lack of education, but he didn't. Something else shaped his attitude. What is shaping yours? It's easy to listen to what people say about life. They get really loud. Life is really bad. It'd be so much better if only got that contract, that country, that opening. My question for you is, what is God saying about your life, not your resume? What is God saying about your life? Not your advancements, not your bank account. What is God saying about your life? It's not about staying or moving. It's about what is God doing in my life right now? Have I walked down a path and allowed somebody to shape my thinking in a way that I am no longer clearly thinking of why God saved this country, or that company, that opportunity, this family? What is he saying? What is the Holy Spirit doing through your circumstances? Whether you're flourishing or it's difficult. What it's about. You see, flourishing is not that's not the end result. That's not what sometimes becomes that, but that's not the target. You see, David was on target. He was hitting his target In the pasture, and when we think of pasture, don't think of Wisconsin or Ireland or New Zealand. Their pasture was mountainous and craggy and rocky and steep, and there were snakes and rocks and lions and bears and whatnot. Not a great place. So he was out in this pasture, and yet, he was hitting his target because he had found a relationship with his Creator, and he was singing, and he found a place of peace right where he was. What is shaping your attitude today? Faith must shape it. Anything else is circular. Anything else is stalemate bound. People's good intentions may not reflect what's possible, and God is added to the equation. Have you forgotten to add him in? Number 2. What have you won in the past? When David came along, look at how he reasoned. When I was keeping my father's sheep, a lion came. Another day a bear tried to steal my sheep. It didn't work out. I killed him. My hand. I killed them. Is that great? Such a great guy story. They were bigger than me, he said, and Goliath is bigger than me. He will fall just like they did. All right? You say, well, you're arrogant. No, he's not arrogant. Faith shaped his heart. He was not used to thinking like everybody else was thinking. Everybody else was going, can't be done. That won't work. This is a bad idea. What are you thinking? He didn't do that. He came along and said, yeah, he's a big guy, huh? Get this. Big and lumbering. We should hit the guy. Notice what he didn't do. He didn't inflate his past. He didn't have to. He was just a shepherd, but he drew from the strength that he had gained by doing the hard work of daily discipline. You want to you know what? It's not about a conference. And I'm not knocking conference, please. Don't. We may have a big conference someday, and you come back and get the tape and go, you talk about conferences. I'm not talking about a conference that's good or bad. I'm just saying here that it may not be about a conference. It's just daily waking up a little bit earlier, or maybe staying up a little bit later, tackling small issues. I doubt the first animal he killed was a lion. I doubt it. Maybe a snake. Maybe a spider. It probably wasn't this huge thing, this big, giant bear. What God? That scared me. He started tackling small things, and his faith grew. Marriage is a wonderful proving ground for consistently tackling issues. Raising kids is a wonderful way to address small things when they're small. Believe me, if you have a child that's rebellious or whatnot, you probably don't want to wait till they're 15 to try to correct that.
Come on.
Probably going to have a whole lot of problems. Give it a shot when they're small. You see, all those little small wins, they all add up. So when Goliath comes along, he is not shaped by the issue. He is shaped by successes that he had won in the past. And he went back and he solved them. He was able to quickly fill those up. Here's my resume. This is what I've done. I'm not afraid of this guy. Where have you won in the corporate world? Have you evaluated it?